Hello, 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 and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Beverly Lucas, and I am the host of For the Love of Cooking Fridays. What do I do on Fridays? I try to show you how to make a complete meal that is better than the restaurant. Always, always better than the restaurant. What are we going to make today, Beverly? Well, today I was inspired by an individual. His name is Alex. We are in another food group, and he posted a picture. I think it was on yesterday. And when I saw it, I was like, that's it. That's what I'm going to make. That's what I'm going to make for the Love of Cooking Fridays. So what are we making? We are making some salmon and some green beans along with some oven baked fries, but not just any fries. His pictures had sweet potato fries, and I've never made sweet potato fries, but I love potato fries oven baked, and I have them at least once a week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make both of them. Since I never made them before, just in case I don't like them, we're just going to mix them together. We are also going to make just some string beans. Here, I love it when you can go to the grocery store and you can just pick out the beans. You don't have to buy the whole package because, you know, if you follow me, I am cooking for an audience of one. I have some red onion, and the star of the show is the salmon, which is right here. I have a beautiful cut. It's about 8 ounces. And we are going to top that with some cracked pepper and some brown sugar, and we are going to bake it. Now, he seared his salmon, and it just looked perfect, so I'm not even going to try to do that. We're going to use a little bit of butter with the green beans, along with a little bit of garlic. And you cannot have potato fries without Old Bay. I'm in Maryland. We have to have Old Bay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my potatoes. I have already washed them. Then I am going to slice them in the size that I want them. Sometimes when I make them, I make wedges. One of the recipes in my cookbook is Parmesan potatoes. It's made like the same way, but we're not going to put Parmesan cheese on this. And I'm just going to slice them to the size that I want. And then I have to let them soak in water. So we let them soak in water so that the starch from the potatoes will fall to the bottom of the bowl. And then it makes it easier for them to crisp when they're in the oven. Because we want crispy. We want crispy without frying. So we are going to have them crispy. Not only do you want to make sure that you soak them for at least an hour, you also want to make sure that when you take them out the water that you dry them. You dry them before you put them in. And I don't have it out here, but we have our olive oil. And of course, we are going to use salt and pepper. So since this is going to take an hour, we're going to dice these up and I'll be right back at you. Okay, here are my potatoes. And one thing you want to make sure is that your knife is sharp. So I had to sharpen my knife. There. You want to try to make them as uniform as possible so that they can all cook at the same time. Okay, so I have my potatoes all cut up, as you can see here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our sweet potatoes, and I have a bowl of cold water, and I'm going to put them there. And I have a second bowl of cold water for my white potatoes. Yes, I could put them together, but because I've never made these before, I'm just going to keep them separate and then just mix them once they're done. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to just set these aside. And again, the water is cold water. Cold water also stops the oxidizing. I always get that word mixed up. It stops the oxidizing so that they don't turn brown. And oxidation happens when the potato is mixed with the air. And you know that happens with avocados and other types of vegetables. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to prepare our green beans. Let me turn this over. And I like my green beans kind of on a slant. I like to do it like that on both. So this is going to be good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blanch them. You know, blanching is when you just put the vegetables in boiling hot water for like 2 minutes. And then I am going to put them on the grill, the cast iron grill. Now we're just going to turn them this way. There's probably an easier, faster way to do this, but this is what I do. And this is how I do it. I love green beans with potatoes, with onions. I used to make that for my kids all the time. There was never leftovers. I put on the water for the green beans. I also added just a half of a chicken bouillon cube to give it a little flavor. Also here, I have prepared my salmon. I didn't put the topping on it because one thing I realized about brown sugar, if it stays on the salmon too long, it kind of melts and it makes it a little bit too sweet. So I don't put it in until I'm ready. So I don't put it on until I'm ready to put it in the oven, but we have it here ready. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna chop up a little garlic. I'm gonna chop up a little garlic. I already have our red onions and our handful of green beans. I've been cooking all week, almost every single day. So I don't need any extra food in my refrigerator. It's gonna give the flavor to our green beans. Okay, so we have that, we have our potatoes soaking. I have my pan ready here for our potatoes. We're gonna put that right here. And the salmon recipe is in my cookbook. Let me see if I can find what page. This is my deluxe edition of my cookbook. One of my girlfriends paid over $100 to get this done for me. Look how thick it is. It's so beautiful. My girlfriend, she was also my graphic artist. So she helped me to put this whole thing together. Thank you so much, Montre. And here I was referring to the Parmesan potatoes. And those are in wedges. Oh, here it is. That's the salmon. And there I made it with some asparagus, brown sugar crusted salmon. That's how I usually make it until I was walking around in Wegmans. And they have, you know, the prepared meals that they're not cooked, but they're just put together so that you can make them at home. And that's when I saw that they had this black peppered brown sugar. And because I have that, where's it at? Hiding. And because this is just like, this is it. This is everything. This is good on chicken. This is good on steak. And it's mixed with a whole bunch of different spices. And it's just, and it has the large, you know, the peppercorns are not, they're not fine. So you can really taste the pepper, but it's really, really good. It's called the Cracked Pepper Seasoning Shaker. So we're going to mix that with our brown sugar. I have a half a tablespoon of brown sugar, and I'm going to use probably about the same of the black pepper and put it on there. I've only made this once before. I did not, I didn't measure anything, but it was so good. So let me mix this in here. No, I'm not gonna use the same. It's gonna use about a quarter of the black pepper because I remember how it looked when I saw it wrapped in the package. A little bit more because you could actually see the black pepper. Okay, I think that's good. I think that's good. And that's what it looks like. And this is just regular, just brown sugar. There we go. All right, so we have this ready, so we can put this away. I'm gonna move this to the side so I can get the grill out for our green beans. There we go. But we're not gonna do these yet. I'm just getting everything ready because the fries are gonna take the longest to cook. They're gonna take like 40 minutes. Okay, so our potatoes had soaked and I've rinsed them off and I'm trying to dry them as much as possible, getting all the moisture that I can. And I have my bowl here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them in the bowl. You can see we're gonna start with the white potatoes first. First thing I'm gonna do is I have my olive oil. And I'm gonna fill it up, just a cup. Then I have a little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. A little bit of garlic powder. And a little bit of onion powder. And a little bit of Old Bay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix all that up like this. Until it's all coated. Baking pan. I'm going to just spread them out like this. And any of them that I thought were too thick, I cut them up. Okay. Then there we have our white potatoes. Now I'm going to take a separate bowl and I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, so I flipped my cutting board and the same thing, drying off the potatoes, the sweet potatoes. And I have another bowl here. And we're just going to put it in there like that. Get my olive oil. Again, only a capful. It's probably about a tablespoon. A little bit of salt. A little bit of black pepper. A little bit of garlic powder. A little bit of onion powder. And a little bit of Old Bay. Mix it up. Make sure that it's all coated. I have my oven on 375, preheating. And we're going to do the same thing. Just single layers. And I'm going to let these cook for about 40 minutes. I'm going to check them after 30 minutes, but usually it takes about 40 minutes. And this is what it looks like before it goes into the oven. So what have I learned in making sweet potato fries? Their texture is totally different. They cook faster than white potatoes. They are delicious. So this is all that's left because I have been eating them after I took them out the oven. And I had to take them out the oven because they were browning faster than the white potatoes. So the white potatoes are still in the oven. So I have my green beans here, which I have blanched. They're good. They're ready. I've turned on my grill, waiting for that to warm up. And now we are going to prepare our beautiful salmon because it's going to go in next. So let me just wash my hands. And let's get started on the salmon. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to give it a little bit of salt. We don't have to have pepper because the pepper is included in our toppings. So, and we are going to take our black pepper and brown sugar mixture. And we're really just gonna press it in there. Just like that. All the way to the end. I'm gonna break up these small pieces. Now, another thing that I like with salmon, I know which is unusual, but I love to have my salmon with a side of A1 steak sauce. Don't knock it till you try it. It is so good. On top of the oven, we have our butter and olive oil that is warming up. We're going to take our onions. That did not make the sear that I wanted. We're going to take our onions first. I'm going to let those cook for a minute. And I think our white potatoes are ready. So I'm going to take those out. How beautiful is that? We are going to take a little bit of salt and we're going to sprinkle it with a little bit of Old Bay. And there are our so look at here, look at here. We have our French fries, both sweet potato and white potato. We have our green beans that we first blanched and then I grilled them on the cast iron grill, and we are only waiting for our salmon. Look at here, look at here. Okay, I think our salmon is ready. I'm gonna take it out. How beautiful is that? And it's dark because, of course, of the brown sugar. And I'm gonna let it rest until I transfer it to the plate. That plate. Sometimes you just have to know the timing of what you're cooking when you want it all done at the same time. It's about planning, it's about preparing, and it's also about presentation. So let's present. Ta-da! Here we have it. Look at that. Look at the beauty of that. And when I tell you it is delicious, you gotta trust me. It is delicious. So most of the potatoes I've already eaten. So you only see here that which is left. I love the sweet potatoes. I didn't know I would. I will say that the sweet potatoes are softer than the white potatoes. So, you know, we cook and we learn. So we learned that. Green beans. Let me put that down. Never fail us. Still has the crunch. I love food when it appeals to all of our senses. We see it, we smell it, we taste it. We hear it. So good. And then we have our salmon. And I told you I love A1 on my salmon, but I won't put it on there now. Not on the camera. But we're just gonna dive in to the salmon. It smells so good. The burst of flavor. The pepper, the sugar. Those taste together, although they're opposites, when you bring them together, it just bursts in your mouth. And it's crusted. So you can hear me chewing, and it's the crust. It is so good. Thank you for joining me today. If you like this video, please go ahead, give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. But most of all, if you have not, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Why should you subscribe to my YouTube channel? Because I do my best to try to show you how to create a meal for your spouse, for your family, for your friends, for your grandchildren, for your coworkers, that is better than the restaurant. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next week on For the Love of Cooking Friday.